All right, and we are back here on the GSMC football podcast. And for the third part of the show, we are now going to talk about what is next for the 49ers after their loss to the Chiefs. Again, I feel for the players and their fans because, I mean, again, you fall short again. Um, they lose kind of in a similar fashion where they lose a 10-point lead. Chiefs come back. Only this time this game goes to overtime, and they had the lead, and then the Chiefs went down the field and scored. But yeah, I mean, similar just in terms of them losing that 10-point lead. Because again, they were playing great. I mean, Mahomes wasn't really doing anything. They couldn't really run the football. Because again, we talked about how the 49ers defense, the run defense wasn't good in the playoff games against the Lions and the Packers. And listen, they shut down that Chiefs running game. But, Pacheco was able to, finish with, I think, 59 yards? But Holmes had a couple of big runs. But, I thought for the most part the Niners did a good job containing that. They did give up a couple of big plays, the McCole Hardman play, but fortunately for them, they were able to force an Isaiah Pacheco fumble and get the ball back. But, yeah, it just, again, they just come up small, and it just, and Kyle Shanahan's going to hear about it because, he just seems to be on the losing end of these games a lot. He's 0-3 in Super Bowls, as a coordinator and as a head coach. In those games, his teams were winning, but couldn't hold on to the lead. You lose to Tom Brady, you lose to Patrick Mahomes. I mean, you were on the losing end of the only Super Bowls that have gone to overtime. Both of them, you were on the losing end. One of them as a coordinator and one of them as a head coach. I mean, that is just brutal. That is just brutal. And listen, I still think Kyle Shanahan is a really good head coach. But, for you to be great, you got to be able to win these games. And he just can't finish. And, you look at the 49ers, you look on the Chiefs, they keep making it back here. But the 49ers, I mean, who knows? Things can happen. I mean, now look, Dre Greenlaw tears his Achilles. I mean, now what's the timetable on his return for next year? I mean, I'm assuming he's going to miss the start of next year. I don't know. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. That's a devastating blow to your defense. And these guys are getting older. I mean, obviously they're going to run it back with the same core, and they're going to be a very good team next year. But you figure the conference is going to be more competitive. The Lions, they almost beat you. They're going to want to get redemption for that. The Packers are going to be better. You got the Cowboys and the Eagles, which, I mean, I say that, but look at what the 49ers did to both of those teams this year. But I'm just saying, because, you got the 1 seed, you had home field advantage. Next year could be different. You could be going on the road, like you had to go to Philly. I know Brock Purdy got hurt, but still, it's just you want to be playing at home. And they could, and listen, they almost lost to the teams that they played at home this year in the playoffs. But yeah, you got those teams. I mean, you got the Vikings with Kirk Cousins. I think coming back. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. And also Justin Jefferson and his contract situation, which is something that we'll discuss as we are now in the off season. Who else? I mean, you look at the NFC South it will be better, but I mean, the 49ers are better than all those teams. In your own division. I mean, the Cardinals, I think, will be better next year. Again, the 49ers, I mean, I think whatever kind of offseason the Cardinals are going to have, I mean, the 49ers, I think, will still be better on paper. The Cardinals got some ways to go, but they'll be better. I mean, you look at the Rams and the Seahawks. I mean, those two teams. Because the Rams, listen, not a lot of people thought they were going to be that good this year. Rebuilding, young team. Didn't matter. Stafford and Sean McVay and Cooper Kupp to go along with Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams. And Aaron Donald on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they made the playoffs, and they're going to be better. They fixed that defense. I mean, they're going to be right there next year. So you got to worry about them. Seahawks, we'll see. They got a good roster. They need a quarterback. So it's going to be tougher next year. And I mean, who knows? I mean, are you going to get home field advantage? Are you going to be able to, host playoff? I mean, anything can happen. And unfortunately, also, like what happened last night, injuries too. I mean, we saw what happened in 2020. They got ravaged with injuries. So, again, I'm not hoping. I'm hoping that that doesn't happen because I hate injuries. And obviously, when Greenlaw goes down, I mean, that was devastating. Because again, I don't like seeing people get hurt. As many people do. No one likes injuries. It's awful. But again, it's part of the game, unfortunately. And we as fans just got to deal with it. But it's part of the game. And again, what else is part of the game and part of the show is once again my camera just is acting up again. I don't know what's going on today. Yeah, so yeah, part of the game, part of the show is my camera acting up. And obviously we're going to fix it. Again, simple fix, but this can't happen. All right, now it just doesn't want to. I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening today, guys. I apologize, but I mean this is ridiculous. But yeah, it's just unfortunate because again, I want the 49ers to win. All right, there we go. I want the 49ers to win. I want this group of players to win. I think they deserve it. And Brock Purdy put the blame on himself. I mean, listen, I don't. I think Brock Purdy is one of the last people you should be blaming. Now, could he have made more plays? Absolutely. There's some throws that he missed, but it also didn't help when at certain points during the game he had pressure right in his face. I mean, there was the third and fourth play. I think that was the field goal to put them up 19-16. Pressure in his face. Chiefs were bringing it, bringing him a blitz. Then I don't know why I said it like that, but yeah, he was getting blitzed. Had to get rid of it. They had to kick a field goal, and then in overtime, because I saw in the comments it was like, oh, he had a wide open Brandon Ayuk. Because I mean, again, I missed that. I mean, I saw the play, but I didn't realize it until I watched the highlights. You go back and you watch it. Yeah, Ayuk's wide open, but Purdy didn't see him because Purdy's got all that pressure coming at him. So then they had to kick the field goal in overtime. Yeah, it stinks when you get to this point, and they've gotten here a bunch of times now, conference championships, the Super Bowl, against the Chiefs, and they fall short. But I mean, I would not place the significant blame on Brock Purdy. I mean, I honestly, for me personally, like I know people are blaming Shanahan too, and yeah, but I mean, you look at some of the things that happened. I mean, is it Shanahan's fault that they muffed the punt on special teams that set up the Mahomes touchdown? Like, how you can't blame that on Shanahan? Is it Shanahan's fault that Jake Moody's extra point got blocked? It's like those two plays right there. You could look at them and say they costed the 49ers the game because the defense was containing Mahomes and that offense, but they capitalized on their mistakes. And instead of the Chiefs having to go down and get 7, all they had to do was get 3 to tie the game. It just Jake Moody hits that extra point. If that doesn't get blocked, changes the whole complexion of the game. Chiefs have to go down and get 7, which, I mean, the way they were playing in the second half, maybe they do get 7, and then we're having a different conversation. That game ends in regulation, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, they were running the ball with McCaffrey. I mean, McCaffrey was the game plan, and he had a big game. I don't know. For me, I can't really say I can't really blame. I mean, I guess you blame special teams, Ray McLeod for muffing the punt. I just I can't really put the blame on the head coach. I mean, again, I mean, you lose a 10-point lead, but I don't know. It's just, I guess, like, with Kittle, and I know Debo was in and out because he was dealing with the hamstring injury, and Kittle was hurt, but I don't know. I guess get the ball to them more. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because Jawan Jennings was making plays. I mean, you saw. I mean, earlier in the game, Brock Purdy. I mean, yeah, we talk about his Avengers, supporting cast. He was throwing to Chris Conley and Ray McLeod. Made a couple of good throws to them. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I really am gonna blame Shanahan because again, like the muff punt and the missed extra point. I mean, you can't blame him for that. But again, that's just my opinion. But if anybody else has any comments on that, feel free. But I don't know. I feel like they still were running in with McCaffrey. They didn't go away from that game plan. I don't know. It just they never put the finishing blow on the Chiefs. Like the Chiefs were still hanging around, and they capitalized on 49ers mistakes. So, I don't know. But listen, this team is going to be good next year. They're going to have this core, but it's just, when is that time going to come for them where they get it done? I don't know. And I feel for the players because, again, like they just fall short once again to this same team. So we're going to take our final break of the show. And then when we come back, we'll take a look at the Super Bowl odds for each team for next year. Who's got the best odds? Who's got the worst odds? But yeah, that's what we'll do when we come back from our final break of the show. So stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Football Podcast.